Hello, good evening everybody. It's actually past 6 here on Guam, and I just wanted to say hello to everybody. Welcome to Living on Guam's live broadcast. My name is Leah Del Mundo. I'm the team leader, one of the team leaders here at Living on Guam, and I'm here to talk about to live on or off base. That is the question. A big question for a lot of people relocating to Guam, especially because when I say on or off base, obviously this is referring to a lot of our military folks that are PCSing here to Guam. So I have some notes here, and I'm not going to deny I need my glasses so I can see my notes so that I can make sure that I don't miss anything on what I'm trying to tell you. So here we go. A lot of people and a lot of families, they like to live on base. Why? Okay, first of all, if you are a family with young children, it really is very convenient when, the kids can just walk to and from school, they can play in the playground or the park or what have you, and it's just easier. Right? Especially for a lot of families with young kids. So that's one thing to consider if you want to live on or off base. Second thing is familiarity. If you like being around military folks all the time because everything's familiar, it's the same people that you see from the last post to the next, then on base is good for you, right? Because you're in familiar territory, familiar surroundings. It's all military. So that would be another reason why you'd like to stay on base. And then a third reason is that basically you have no choice because maybe of the job of your husband. He's really needed to be living on base or within close distance to his work. You won't have a choice, and you really have to stay on base. Also depends on the rank. If you're single, I understand that in some branches it's E4 4 that they can move off base. And then for families, it's E4 with families that can live off base. But then it depends on the kind of job the active member has. So that would be a third reason that you would like to stay on base, is because you have no choice. Another thing too, a lot of spouses, they like the fact that their husband can come home for lunch. Right? And so that's why they want to live on base. So it's easy for the husband to take a break and come home for lunch. Another reason would be safety, especially if your husband is going underway or is going to be sent on a lot of assignments off island or is going to be deployed for long periods of time. A lot of families feel safer in the confines of the base. Not to say that it's not safe off base, but they just feel safer on base. Another thing as well are the amenities. They want to stay close to the MWR where there's a pool, there's a gym nearby, all these things. So that's why they'd like to live on base. So those are really the reasons. And so, let's recap. They want the convenience, especially if they have young children. They want the familiarity. They're used to having military folks around them, and so they want to keep the same familiar faces. No choice because of the husband's job or the active member's job. Safety, especially if the spouse, especially if the husband, for example, is going to go underway. And then another reason, final reason, is amenities. So that's why you'd like to stay on base. Now, if these are big considerations on your decision making, then yes, I think it would be best for you to stay on base. Now, why would you want to live off base? Okay, so my husband and I have been helping a lot of military folks who are relocating to Guam, being PCSed here on Guam for the last 16 years. So we have talked to a lot of families, talked to a lot of single active members, so we get to gather all this information from them. So here's the reason, here's there's several reasons why they want to live on base and off base, by the way, off post. And I'd like to share them with you, and something for you to think about if you are considering living off base, or if your rank and your OHA would allow you to live off base. Number one, a lot of them want to de-stress. So, you know, they're at work, they're on base, they're working on base, and so they want to get out. They want to leave work behind at the end of the day. So they want to de-stress. And, you know, especially if you're living in the South, for example, close to Navy base, and you drive and you see the beach, you see the palm trees, the coconut trees, a lot of green grass and all that beautiful things that nature, that Guam offers, then it really de-stresses you, allows you to unplug, you know, so really allows you to separate your personal life, your family life from work life. So they like that separation, and that's why they like living off base. So what they say is like they want to be outside of the bubble, right? Because when they're on base, they call it the green bubble. I don't know why they say green bubble. Maybe it's the uniform. But they say if they work and live on base, then they're living in the green bubble. And so they want to be outside of the bubble, outside of the green bubble. They say they want to, especially here on Guam. Guam is very rich in culture and tradition, you know, so it's a unique place because Guam is a U.S. territory. So we are all U.S. citizens here, right? And you have your rights and all the things that you enjoy as a U.S. citizen, you get to enjoy here because this is a U.S. territory. But at the same time, it's very unique as far as culture is concerned. It's so island, you know, the Chamorros are very proud of their culture. And it's good if you live off base because then you can really see the culture. You know, you can really see how people live here on the island, and you get to enjoy that, and you get to appreciate something different because you see how people live outside off base or outside of military life. And a lot of people also like living outside of the base, especially while they're here on Guam, because this is a tropical paradise. You know, I'm so proud to say I love living here. This is my home. And it's just, why live on base where all you see are streets and a lot of concrete, the homes and the buildings, when you can go live off base, where you can see a lot of ocean, a lot of beautiful trees, a lot of nature. You know, you can see these things. And so you know, they want to live off base so that they can experience the real island life. You know, they can really experience the tropical island living, tropical island lifestyle. So that's why folks live off base. Military folks, whether families or single, they live off base. And earlier we talked about safety. So let's talk about safety again now. While off base, Guam is relatively, generally a very safe place. I mean, really, where can the criminal go? Where can he hide, right? It's such a small island where everybody practically knows everybody, right? So it is generally a safe place. And so there are other communities here off base that are even gated. Like in the north, you have Paradise Estates, you have Paradise Meadows, you have Paris Acres. And here in the south, there's not too much, actually there's only a handful or just very few gated communities. And they're not even really like Paradise Estates or Paris Acres where it's gated and you have to have a pass and all that. There are some condominiums that are strict as far as security is concerned. So it is a relatively safe area, you know, living off base. It's safe. Now, it also helps if you have a good realtor. So a realtor who has been living on Guam for a long time, that you could consider them locals, they would really know which areas to recommend to you. I, in particular, especially when I'm dealing with single active members or I know that the spouse is going to be underway and so the wife is going to be left behind with the kids, I am very particular of where I put my client, because I want, I myself have to put myself in that situation. I have to feel safe myself for me to even recommend that to my client, because I'm really out for my client. And so that's the same thing with my husband. I always say, is that safe for the wife and the kids, especially when the husband is underway? So I'm big about safety, and I'm very particular about where I put, especially my female members, and especially the spouses in the families whose father or husband will be underway or deployed. So it really helps when you have a good realtor. And so when you come to Guam, you get OHA, Overseas Housing Allowance, as opposed to a BAH, right? And so in the States, the BAH, whatever is extra, that BAH you get to keep. Here, for OHA, you don't get to keep anything extra of your OHA. So a lot of members, most members, or if you're smart, all members would max out the OHA allowance. So let's say, for example, you're an E4 single. You get a certain amount of allowance on that one. And of course, you as members know what your allowance is. So for that amount of money, you can get a lot of space outside, off base, especially if it's a family. There's a certain amount of allowance that you're allowed, depending on your rank, right? And you're a family. So with that amount of money, you can get a way bigger house. For the most part, in most cases, majority of the time, you get a much bigger house when you choose to live off base. So that's one other reason that people like living off base, because they have bigger homes, bigger yards. So I've helped several families in the last few weeks that are living on base and have chosen to move off base. Why? Because their dogs came in and they want a yard, or they want more space. They want more space, or they want to see the ocean. If I'm paying this much in rent, I really want to make the most out of it. And so, you can really get the bang for your buck if you live off base, because you're entitled to a certain amount of money. So that's another positive of living off base. And here's another thing. You also get a utility allowance. Other than your Overseas Housing Allowance or OHA, you also get a utility allowance. Now, my laundry's done. So if you are very mindful of how you use your utilities, how you use your power, you actually get to keep whatever's extra for utilities. So you get to save a lot of money in that way too. So again, if you have a good realtor, we will recommend certain homes for you. My husband and I are very particular about that too. We would recommend certain homes for you where you can save money on utilities. And also, we go the extra mile. My husband and I go the extra mile on advising, recommending on how to use your utilities and certain tips that we give our clients. So there you go. So you get to keep the extra, or you get to save money on utilities as far as that is concerned. Now, here's another thing, and I would say this a lot. I mean, there are really plenty of reasons to live off base, and I'm just going through those that resonate a lot with my clients, that they share with me, they tell me about. So another thing is, because they like to be immersed with the local culture, with the local community, a lot of military folks like making friends with the local people. Okay, so especially for me and my husband, a lot of our friends join our church, right? And because our church is a mixture of locals and military folks, right? The military folks, they'd rather live off base, so it's easier for their friends to come and see them. It's easier for them to throw parties, especially if a lot of their friends are local. So there's no hassle of having to get a pass, because of the security on base. So that's why, they like living off base, so that their local friends can come and visit without difficulty of access. So So yeah, those are the things. So, oh my gosh, if I'm going to have to recap, that's a lot of why you want to live off base. But let me recap. Let me read my notes. So you want to de-stress. You want to unplug. You want to live out of the bubble. You want to immerse in the culture. You want to really live and experience the island life. It's also safe, but you got to find a good realtor who can point you in the right direction. You can find bigger homes, okay? And you get to save on your utilities. And then if you have local friends, right, then they can easily come and visit you. So those are the things that a lot of my clients have mentioned about living off base, the benefits of living off base. So that's it. It's quick, direct to the point. So you guys now need to decide for yourselves what is best for you and what is best for your family. What is best for your lifestyle. If you have any questions, okay, or you'd like us to help you walk through that decision-making process, feel free to email us at info@livingonguam.com or go there on the private message and send us a message. You can go on our website, www.livingonguam.com, and you can also ask the question there. So, and then we would respond, let you know, our thoughts, our input, because we've been in this business for the last 16 years, and we've helped a lot of military folks relocate and find their island home here in Guam. So also, if you would like to join me for live broadcasts, then feel free, please, to click on that icon on the upper right-hand side, okay? Click on that and say subscribe, and you will be alerted to anytime and every time that I go live. So hopefully that works. Again, if you have any questions, please email us, info@livingonguam.com. And my husband and I, Alex and I, and our team look forward to helping you find your home here on Guam. We love Guam, and we want you to love Guam too. Okay, have a good evening, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye.